So I want to talk a little bit more about blending, particularly when you have complementary colors like what I'm doing right here. So this is kind of it's the combination of russet and magenta, and then I'm using sunset gold to blend into it. Now, this is tough. I mean, I'm going to try to show you this and hope it comes out the way it's supposed to. But you see I'm using just ever so slight scrubbing motion, and I'm using a very small brush, by the way, because what I really want to do is try to, excuse me, let me back up here. I'm going to try to perpetuate that pink. Now, I just went over it with the gold and I lost it. So now what I do is I come back with the pink and just keep working it back and forth. There we go. So see, you can do that, but it requires truly building up the layers of color, which is why this is taking so long. By the time I end up really making a video out of all of the pieces and parts here, I will have probably spent, I don't know, 30, maybe even as much as 40 hours going through here and trying to put this down in such a way that you can follow it yourself if you have purchased this pattern. Now, there's still plenty of gaps. You can see here, you know, part of this is always going to be the problem with denim. It has such a big weave that it really is very hard sometimes to get all of it covered. So just plan on the fact that you'll probably have to go back in and make several different go-overs, if you will. You'll have to go over it several times with a particular color to really get it inside those grooves. And of course, if you're going with the grain of the fabric, that certainly helps quite a lot. Now here I'm going against the grain. Sometimes that works too, just to be able to get the color down into the grooves of the weave. Now I'm going against it here at almost a 45-degree angle. When I do that, I actually press pretty firmly with my brush, or at least I try to really work those bristles into the weave. And I'll be frank with you, sometimes it works, and sometimes it will come back. It'll look like the paint is in there, but in fact, it really isn't. So the key is constantly working the layers. I say this, I feel like I repeat myself constantly, but truly, in order to get a more painterly look like that, and by the way, let me move the light away so that you can see this. I think you have a better chance of seeing how the emergence of the two colors together looks really good. I'm going to come down here and put a little bit of gold just at the very tip of this, just a little bit of gold, and then I'm going to come back in, pick up some more of that rose mixture, and kind of blend those two together, just where they come together. I mean, try not to overcolor one area with too much paint, because after a while it'll just turn to mud. So this is a really it's a difficult concept. To tell you the truth, it's something I struggle with. So, and again, don't worry about losing the black. The key right now is to get these colors as blended as possible. And once they're blended, then coming back in with a black marker is no big deal. But you see, there are plenty of little gaps. Let me see if I can zoom in even further. Yeah, you can see it really good now. You see all those gaps where the paint just needs to be scrubbed in there. And I do it literally just tiny little, quarter inches here, quarter inches there. At the same time, I'm rubbing it against that gold and blending it really well. So this is really the crux of everything about this particular pattern. It really requires a lot of blending back and forth, not only because, now if you're doing this on white, by the way, this is a slam dunk. You won't have anywhere near the issues like what I'm having right now. I'm gonna come back and grab some of this gold. Now, the instructions, again, I'm gonna try to do my best to give you an idea of where all these colors go. But frankly, this is, again, why this is so difficult, because it's really tough for me to put down numbers that say, okay, yeah, shade here, and then, you know, layer here, and I could do that, but I'd end up writing a book. And most people, they're gonna look at it a little bit, and then they're gonna go off and do their own thing. Okay, now I need a little bit of pink right there to get back kind of the blend effect between the two. So again, just keep working it. Let me zoom out. He's actually looking pretty good. I'm not crazy so much about the pink. I mean, I like the pink here. But I'll be frank with you, I think even though I've been kind of trying to stay away from crimson, I'm going to start bringing in a little bit more of the crimson. Now, that is not one of the colors that's included in the Exciter pack. And nor, by the way, is citrine, and nor, by the way, is grape. So there are 3 colors I'm using in here that are not included. You may want to consider doing that. Now, if you like this pink and then the russet, no problem on using crimson. Grape, I think you're really going to need, and even the citrine, which, by the way, is that lighter green, you could probably accomplish that by just putting in some white with the olive, metallic olive, and that would probably give you a light enough contrast for the leaves. I mean, leaves to me are kind of just incidental. They're not super important. So consider keeping the additional color purchase, unless you want it. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you that you can't buy them. I just think if you want to try to keep the cost of this effective, then you want to just stick with the Exciter packs, which, by the way, Dick Blick's has them for less than $20 a piece. You know, 40 bucks for the 2 sets, you're going to get close to 20 colors, of which I've only used 10 in this particular owl. And then, frankly, they last for a really long time. I've got several of them here that I know are at least 5 years old. So the little containers that they come in do last if you keep them well sealed and out of sun. Okay, so stay tuned for more. I will continue working on these leaves. Again, not crazy so much about the pink. Maybe bring in a tiny bit more red. See, there's more red up here. But then if you come down here, in fact, I did have to bring in some red down in here. I just think the pink, even though it looks okay, I think in order to get a better contrast, you need either the russet or the crimson. Okay, stay tuned for more tips.